2016, published on the Township's website, also the official calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, folks. Thank you for attending tonight. Tonight we have several awards that I want to give out in the presence of council and the citizens here in Mount Holly Township. What I'd like to do is call two of my officers, Greg Walters and Jana Lohr. I don't think I need a microphone. My officers tell me that my voice carries very well. What I'd like to do is read the least life-saving awards presented both to my two officers, Greg Walters and Jana Lohr, as I said. On February 4th, 2016, at approximately 4:57 p.m., police units were dispatched for a report of a motor vehicle accident on Mount Holly Bypass between Martin Highway and Rancocas Road. Patrolman Walters responded and located the vehicle in the northbound lane outside of our jurisdiction in Hainesport Township. He immediately assessed the driver, John Richardson, and found him unconscious, not breathing, with no pulse. With the arrival of police officer Lohr, they both began CPR, and utilizing the automatic external defibrillator, they were able to reestablish a pulse and continue to assist Mr. Richardson in his breathing. During this time, they lost the pulse again, and the AED was used a second time, while reestablishing Mr. Richardson's pulse again for a second time. They continued CPR until the EMS arrived and turned the care of Mr. Richardson over to them. Because of your intervention, officers, Mr. Richardson made it successfully to the hospital and has been given a fighting chance. Try to give you folks the right ones. Mr. Richardson is here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Can I have Police Officer Matt Egler? Hi, Matt. How you doing? Again, another life-saving award. This award, by the way, is awarded to a member who clearly performs an act which results in the saving of a human life with prompt and alert attention. Excuse me. On February 24th, 2016, at approximately 10:22 p.m., the Mount Holly Township Police Department were dispatched for a report of a woman, Mrs. Dreyer, who had passed out and was gasping for air. The call was then upgraded to one of cardiac arrest. It was reported that Mrs. Dreyer was now unconscious, not breathing, and CPR instructions were given over the phone. Upon arrival, Police Officer Egler found a family member conducting chest compressions. Patrolman Egler took over and conducted an assessment of Mrs. Dreyer and found she was not breathing, had no pulse, and immediately began CPR. After several moments, Mrs. Dreyer regained consciousness, and her care was turned over to emergency medical personnel. Without the initial actions of the family member and the intervention of Police Officer Egler, Mrs. Dreyer may not have survived this medical emergency. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, are you in the audience?
That's us.
Oh, I got the whole crew. Well, I only have 2 certificates, so you're going to have to share. Come on up. Hi, how you doing? Wow. You got everybody? This is unusual. That we have civilians being honored tonight with a certificate of appreciation to both Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I'm going to read this very carefully. You have to follow with me a little bit on this. This certificate of appreciation is awarded to a civilian who clearly performs an act which results in assisting the Mount Holly Township Police Department during an official police action or during the course of an investigation to their prompt and alert action. On January 22nd, 2016, at approximately 8:47 a.m., the Mount Holly Township Police Department were dispatched to Beneficial Bank for a report of a bank robbery in progress. Additional information was received from dispatch that a civilian, and Eric Jones and his wife, Desiree?
Desiree.
Had witnessed a suspicious activity outside of the bank following the suspect, as the suspect was making his getaway. The Joneses followed the suspect in their car and not only gave directions of travel and license plate of the suspect car, but took a video of the incident as well. The suspect was stopped, arrested by the police a short distance from the bank, and pursuant to the ensuing investigation, the suspect was charged with the bank robbery and weapons offenses. Without the assistance of these civic-minded citizens, it is likely the suspect would have escaped the area without police intervention. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I may have to make more comments. Folks, I want to thank everybody for coming here and acknowledging my officers' good works. I want to thank council for the opportunity to make this public in this manner. I'm very proud of all my officers and what they do. It does my heart very good to be able to acknowledge them in this manner, and especially civilians, when so many people are not getting involved in one another's lives today. It makes me feel very good that they've thought enough of the people of Mount Holly to intervene in the way they did. Just a side note, that gentleman that we arrested was also charged with another bank robbery that occurred earlier in the year. Wes Anthony helped us out tremendously. I also acknowledge that.
I was one of the arresting officers.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, thanks again, folks. Yes, I do. I was going to get away with it. Thank you very much. That's all the awards. You folks are welcome to stay. You came for this acknowledgement. I understand that you're going elsewhere.
We have a little reception for the officers, all the officers who have come up to the, and everyone and the guests who have come up to a couple of little locales over in Commerce at Hine.
Very good.
And we'll have some donation towards out for your charity.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Folks, you're welcome to stay. We're going to do a little, this isn't what they refer to, Lieutenant, if you could step up for a moment. There's a new push throughout all the United States, but here in New Jersey, it's very prevalent. It's referred to as an active shooter drill. As you know, today across the nation, people are doing crazy things, attacking schools, and other what they refer to as soft targets. And what we're doing is we're trying to educate the public a little bit as to what the proper method of action is as a civilian. And just we're going to run a brief video, answer just a few questions, and then we'll wrap up all of it. As we get all of it. Okay? Lieutenant, I'll turn it over to you. Very good.
Just to let you know, the Burlington County Prosecutor's Offices, along with Mount Police Departments and all the other local police departments come together. And we've been trained to be consistent in our response. We've taken notice of some of these incidences, and back in the day, you would wait for other officers to respond. We have a new response, and we all learned to train, so we all know what to expect from each other. Our primary goal is we're going to neutralize the threat. So that's what we're going to do. This video explains what you may want to do. It's put on by the Homeland Security. This just gives you some ideas of what you should involve. This isn't just a workplace. You know, they're very indiscriminate. They are in theaters. They are wherever a large amount of people gather. So this just doesn't have to, say you work from home. This doesn't apply to me. Well, you probably go to the store. You probably go to the movies. It's wherever large people gather. So it's just some ideas for you to keep in mind if this ever were to happen. So I want to play a short video, and we'll go from there. We have played this video to our councilmen and women, and they agreed to, they wanted to share this with you, so that's why we're here.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action than reality. The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. sometimes bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.
quick thing, wherever you go, I do it wherever I go, I always know where the exits are, I always know where the exits are. Just something just keep in mind in your head. Again, our initial action is gonna be to take out that person that's doing the damage. When you guys come back out, and after this is all, you're being evacuated, a couple things to remember, keep your personal belongings where they are. We don't wanna see bags, remember, we don't know how many people are involved. We wanna see hands, we want you to listen. They're the biggest things to remember as you're exiting, and just follow the police commands during this.
Is there stats, in case you haven't already covered, I'm sorry, I had to step out, our men are actually handling a very hot call as I speak. This is mandated from the state, on all the school, classrooms from pre-K all the way up through the high school itself. They go through drills. If your kids come home and tell you, this is what's going on, this is exactly what's being pursued. We're trying to make sure that specifically our children, but any what they refer to as a soft target, is well prepared. The Mount Holly Police Department, with a very progressive council and township manager, allows us to get more training done than some of our contemporaries in other towns. Not because they're lacking, but because we have so many accessible targets here. We're going to make sure, and their care is about the citizens. So this is why we're presenting this, because you're going to be seeing it more and more, possibly in your places of work if they have enough employees, but definitely in all the schools, and also some of the religious houses that we have in town. They're also being educated. Any quick questions? Because I don't want to hold up council, and people have a lot of things to do tonight, especially if I understand we're going to the ice cream parlor. Because obviously, I'm somebody who enjoys ice cream.
I do have some brochures here. I'll see you out in the hallway. I'd just like to thank you on behalf of the Mount Holly Township. I'd like to thank council for giving us the opportunity to share this information with you. And like I said, you can always call us. If you have any questions, you can come see us. We're very approachable. We're located right up on the second floor. I'll have these outside.
Thanks again, folks.
So you're gonna get some ice cream with us?
So they did this with my trauma client left.
I hope somebody's
all within the township meeting, and other communications, we still have the environmental committee report.
Just briefly, a few updates. As far as our tree inventory grant, assisted grant, which includes removal of hazard trees, he actually started working today. Cornerstone started working today, and one tree has been taken down on Flatwood that was one of the hazardous trees. He will be taken down over the course of some time because the storm last week and all the wind he's gotten a lot of emergency calls to taking for trees that have had issues with the wind that came through last week. So instead of taking them all down at once, he's going to start working out, but they should be all down by the end of May at least. The draft plan for the municipal public access plan, Melissa from DRPC is still working on that. She got pulled off on another project, so That got slightly delayed, but she hopes to be finishing that up within a week or so. We're putting together an RFP for the state trail grant. This will include trying to install a couple kayak docks on the Rancocas, one in Highland Park, and one a little upstream to be able to connect the county water trail to downstream trail below the dam. We did talk to someone at Easy Docks, and he's going to come out and actually look at the site and give us an estimated price, but he thinks it is very feasible to do that because he's done a lot of projects similar to this. We just recently received notice that we got another Sustainable Jersey grant for $10,000. This will be to test various types of pervious materials for alternative sidewalk material around large trees that have taken up sidewalks. This way, water and nutrients will be able to infiltrate to the tree roots, and they'll be able to expand better so that it won't damage the sidewalk. So we're going to be testing several different types of materials so we can try to save our large urban tree forests that are on the planting strips. Other items we're looking at the Sustainable Jersey, we're still working on trying to get silver certification. There's a number of items that I did submit to council to be looked at. One of the things is I know that the tree protection ordinance did kind of make it to the planning board, but I think they might be still waiting for a resolution from council for them to look at it, so I don't know how that process works. So we need to put it in print. Yeah, again, we see that I think Jill was just saying that she's waiting to hear from, if there was from council whether or not to look at that. So I don't know if you need to pass a resolution for that they can then look at the draft plan for the tree protection ordinance. So.
I think it's good. Do we need to do a resolution to forward that over to the planning board? Yeah, which I would, yeah. Yeah, we can do it if they don't need action on it, I'll talk to people about it.
Upcoming events, April 21st, TCNJ will be here, about 15, 20 students. We're going to be doing a storm drain stenciling program project, along with handing out some brochures about a community cleanup day, which will take place May 21st. And I meant to bring a bunch of flyers. Of course, I left my home, so I only have one with me. But this is a sample of the flyer, and there's going to be door hangers that we're going to be handing out. And I left it back at my house, but and that will be on May 21st. So we're going to be staging it at Monroe Park, but we'll be sending whoever comes out to clean up to various places in the parks, both Iroquois, Milldam, any place that has some trash, and we'll be supplying gloves and bags for them to pick up trash if they see it to clean up the local parks. We have an opportunity from the New Jersey Tree Foundation. They reached out saying that they're putting in an application where they could supply up to 100 large trees to be planted in the public area, probably Milldam Park if they get the money. And I think we're moving forward to have so we'd be considered if they get that grant for those trees. And I think that's all.
That's end of communications. We move on to approval of minutes. First, we have March 14th, 2016 executive session. Any questions or concerns? If not, do we have?
Can we take them all together?
You want to take them all together?
Or we can't, right?
All right. So we'll
Take a motion to approve the executive regular meeting minutes of March 14, 2016. And sorry, in the April 4th, 2016 executive session.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Ms. Sykes?
Yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Mr. Thiessen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
We move on to ordinances for second reading, public hearing. So the first ordinance up is 2016-8, ordinance amending chapter 14973 of the municipal code to provide for additional waivers for site plan approval. So we'll open up to the public. If anybody in the public has any questions or concerns on this ordinance. Louis?
Mr. Lopez from Mahali, causing 370 South One. My first question is the first ordinance. This is where I applied to a solar panel approval waiver.
No.
No. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the public on this ordinance? Public hearing on this ordinance coming back up to council. Any questions, concerns? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Ms. Sykes? Yes. Mr. Thiessen? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Moving on to ordinance 2016-12, ordinance amending chapter 265 of the code, of Holly. Again, open up to the public. Any questions or concerns on this?
Could you just briefly tell us what it's about?
Parking.
Parking?
Parking along certain streets, in this case, Woolden Drive.
Any other questions or concerns? Public, close the public portion, bring it back up to council. For
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2016-12.
roll call?
Mr. Brown? Mr. DeFalco?
Yes.
Ms. Sykes?
Yes.
Mr. Thiessen?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
And ordinance on second reading is 2016-13, ordinance amending chapter 90 of the code of Township of Mount Holly. Again, open this up to the public. And
Just a brief explanation.
The certificates of approval have, the fees haven't been updated in about 10 years. They just raised the fee from 100 to 150. And they have to post the money with their ensure compliance with trash and rubbish when people are moving out of house. That's all. That applies to my ones.
did you get that?
What's going on? Amy, there's one, 203 Broad. Certificate of approval for rental property?
It's when a CO
CO?
Yeah.
For when you sell your house?
inspection fees, yeah.
Is that including like a rental? When you change a tenant? So you're going from
100 to 150. Hasn't been updated since 2006.
100 to 150 plus a heater cert for 100?
This doesn't change the heater cert on this. The seller's name, they also have to post the money as was required before to make sure that everything is complied with.
So a 2-year inspection is 150 and a change of tenant. It's a little excessive.
It's in accordance with the state.
That's a state law?
No, it coincides generally with what most municipalities are, and it's in accordance with the state.
Do all the apartments in town have to pay that?
Yeah.
Every time somebody moves in or out? Yes.
Sure. It's the inspection fee. General inspection.
If they know the person.
Sellers and landlords.
Do we have in place a penalty for all these people that aren't having their apartments inspected every time somebody leaves?
There is a penalty if they don't do it. Absolutely, they could be cited.
Has it ever been done? When people move in and out, have you got any cited to anybody? Because this is a big concern of mine, this rental property thing, because I actually own a lot of properties in Mount Holly, and I know a lot of people are renting properties and not doing anything.
Code, I have to check with code enforcement to see how many citations they've issued for failure to comply with this over the years. But certainly if there was ever an incident, as a landlord, if it wasn't inspected, the liability would be, you can only imagine how worse the liability would be if something wasn't caught and it was found that the landlord didn't have it inspected.
Police have set up a program where if, a citizen were to have a problem with, would know of a rental property that was turning over and not being inspected, that they could somehow submit a name without, being, without that name being public, in other words.
Sure, they can submit it to the code department, absolutely, or even to Josh. And,
It can actually be set up easily online in our online reporting tool to be able to report anonymously.
Because I've been paying for years for
Right.
my stuff, and I've always been,
Right.
I'm the first one to get cited. So. see all this, I mean, it's really frustrating for me to keep raising the fees and another, raising fees on rental properties, and I know all these people that aren't paying anything, and they just skate every year, and then when I bring it to people's attention, then all of a sudden the inspection's done. But it's been years since they've even, there's homes that are rented that, I know that people across from me lived there for 20 years, never got it inspected once. 20 years they've rented from somebody, never was inspected. When you bring something up, and I'm paying now 150, it would be a lot less if everybody was paying their fair share instead of burning the good people who get their rental properties inspected. And that's what my frustration is. And I'm asked later, hopefully somebody from council is going to join me, because we need to do something about Mount Holly's rental properties and break every property. So I'll speak later on that. But I really, this ordinance thing, if everybody paid their bills, it could sustain itself, and everybody would get burned with more money, because you guys keep raising the rates. Yeah, every time you have to.
That's not accurate, hasn't been raised in 10 years.
Well, their heater cert has to be done every time someone moves in. You could have rented the property if it's over 30 days later. I rented the property, tenant moved in, 30 days later, different, or say a tenant moved in after I had a 2-year inspection. I'm gonna have a tenant moved in, I have to get a heater cert again, because it's over 30 days, but it was just inspected. So now I'm paying another $100 for a heater cert. But it's the law that I have to do it, which isn't fair. It should be, a heater cert should be valid for 1 year, not 30 days. So things like that aggravate me, because I pay the bills, and then other people I know are doing nothing. And you can see it all around town. There's plenty of people doing nothing. And I keep paying money. So needless to say, I'm not happy about the rate increase, unless everybody's gonna start paying. And I'd like to see in this ordinance, and I'd like to see it implemented, that when we catch somebody, or somebody's turned in, that hasn't been paying, that they have to pay back pay for all the years they haven't been paying, and also get penalized, because then maybe they'll start doing it, instead of picking the people that, like I said, I do it on all my rental properties. So maybe we can do some, address that issue with council.
We have to assume the renters would have history on who was there.
It would be cited, and it would go to the court for any fines for the non-compliance for that. Additionally, they would then have to pay the inspection fee, but they could certainly be fined over.
But it's a lot cheaper to never turn it in. I mean, they lived there 20 years. So for 20 years they paid nothing, and I'm paying $100 plus a heater cert of $100. I paid thousands of dollars, and they paid nothing. But they were allowed to collect rent in that holiday. And hopefully, are we collecting this also on the new properties that are rentals out there, the apartment buildings?
Yeah.
Okay. So just to make sure everybody's getting treated fairly. But I'd like to see that addressed the next month or so. If you can work out something where, because I guess you can ask through the sunshine law, has anybody ever been cited for not, they got caught for not paying, paying the rental fee once a year? Have we ever cited anybody in 30 years? Because I bet you it's probably 0. So that's why I get upset.
You pay it every year, not just when the.
And then if say I pay and I get the heater cert, and then a tenant moves in, 60 days later, I have to get another heater cert. So I have to pay another $100. Yeah, but tenant change. You have a 2-year cert that everybody has to, every 2 years the house has to get inspected. But then say somebody moved out a month later or 60 days later, then I have to go get another heater cert. So I call competitive, I give them another $100. It's not really fair, And then I know people that don't do anything. I mean, you guys can walk in and look at my properties. I mean, look at the outside. They look better inside than they do outside. So, but I keep paying money, and I'm tired of watching people skate. And that's the problem in this town. There's a lot of people skating, and then we keep paying more. Okay?
Just quick, can I say something else? Are we raising the fee to generate more income or to hire another person?
You have to pay the inspector, so just to be clear, it's not if, hopefully everybody complies, because it's really not about a fee thing, it's about a safety issue, and making sure that, the properties are safe. Exactly, and, the cost of having us pay inspectors to go out there, as that goes to the taxpayer, goes up, hence the fee goes up from 100 to 150.
Well, we only have one person doing inspections. So we're not hiring somebody else?
We're not hiring anybody.
So what's our projected
So it's-
income from this rate fee for the year? Do we have a rating?
That's a big increase.
Just from the recommendation of a construction official or a housing official, that would increase.
I would like a number as to what we're actually gonna bring in. We have 150 rentals.
Give you a comparison once we collect it between this year and next year.
I would like a number of the rentals in Mount Holly and how many we collected from. And if you could give me a list, I'll look at it and see how many I know that are illegal rentals.
You can always fill out an open request.
Huh?
You can always fill out an open request. And we
Okay,
can
I'll
get it.
find out for a request. Let's see. Because I'm just curious because
But you
we
still
might not
pay
have to
your
raise
inspector
it.
the same amount of money every
Well, the
year.
inspector gets a raise every year, and we
Well,
haven't
that's
raised
a-
the fee for 10 years.
Right.
So, if you go along it that way, it's $5 a year. We raised the fee $5 a year. Obviously, the inspector got
We
$5
didn't always
a year
have
raise.
this, though.
Yeah, we didn't always have it. Same with heater certs and stuff like
No,
that.
and I will say with the heater cert, again, that was enacted a long time ago when we had different issues and problems.
Mhm.
Much more serious issues and problems than I think we have today, so maybe that's something we want to look at. But,
I would say one of the things that caught my attention, I understand the fee increase concern, but more importantly is the concern you brought up about being in the rental industry, you're more aware of other homes and their buildings in the town which are being rented, which in your opinion, and again, I don't know, I don't have it here, I don't know, maybe being rented out to people who aren't going through the covered process. And being the fact that you're following the rules, there is obviously
Well,
you're concerned because you're doing it, you're being cited,
One
et cetera, et
of
cetera.
my, I'll point one out that you guys know about, that Garden Street property that was cut up into apartments and so, each room had that the county was paying all these people to live in, over on Garden Street a couple of years ago. Yeah, the house that they had, the county was paying 7 residents to live in a room, each room. Do you remember that one up on Garden Street? And I bet you they never had it inspected.
That's
And they were
also
renting
state-
they were renting out
that's
7
state
rooms in a
inspected.
7-room house to 7 people, and the county was paying the people to live there, and we never knew about it. So it came to light, and I bet you we never collected a fee from them for it, for 7 units at $150 or $100 a room. And it had 7 heater certs when they moved in every time. So I guess I'll ask that with, I forget the address, but I can look it up, but I guess I can get the
No, I
information.
know what you're talking about. I mean, I would be interested in, if it's.
I'd like to address that property and that homeowner and ask them if they got 7 heater certs. And they were moving people in and out, so every time they moved someone out, did they get another heater cert for $100? And if they didn't, then do we fine them and get the money from them?
Another issue with the heater, sir, our one building that has 4 apartments has 1 heater. So if say a tenant moves out and then
We get 4 heater
2 months
certs.
later another tenant moves out, then I gotta call. Competitive loves us. I mean, like, come on over, here's another.
Yeah, it's 1
$100.
heater, and we get it, if 4 people move
So
out this
it's
month,
the
I gotta
same
get 40
heater.
heater
It's
certs.
still working. It worked 60 days ago, so.
George, there's so many things need to be reviewed.
I have to look at that. I'm
The
not-
only reason why I think, this, you brought up something, is if there was 1 heater for 4 apartments, why are they getting 4 times? I mean, there's-
Only if 4 people move out, hopefully we only get 1 or 2, and sometimes
Right,
not.
but if there's 1 heater and you just got inspected to move in, unless it blew up in 3 days, no. But I'm more interested in the actual ability to take a look and have some momentum on who may not be complying with the current regulation that these things expected. We need to do an awareness, maybe as council.
Or maybe not when
Say-
people
just say a
move,
statement
once a
to make
year,
sure
you
that
do a heater
this is being
cert.
taken care of, looked into. I mean, there has to be a list of apartment complexes that are out there on the books. Hopefully, these are on the books, whether they're getting their COs or not, people coming in and out, it's a whole different story. But on the books, they should be looked at. I'm not sure what we can do as far as.
Maybe a yearly heater cert. November 1st of every year, every house in Mount Holly that does a rental has to certify the heater and get somebody to look at it. The heater company come in, but I don't know. It seems like I'm getting beat up on financially on this kind of stuff. And I wouldn't mind if everybody else paid their fair share, as everybody knows in this room. I don't mind if everything's fair, then it's fair. So, okay?
Anyone else want to vote? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion for this ordinance to bring back up to council. Any questions, concerns by council? Or do we have a motion?
like to motion to approve the ordinance with the stipulation that we do some awareness on identifying rental properties. If someone has any information that they may be able to provide information to the township with the code official, that we make that method readily available for them to report it, so we can take action on it.
We have a motion, we have a second.
What do we do for the years though?
Well,
That's
That's
a
different.
different.
We'll have a
That's
discussion
a
with the code
different, that's a
official.
different.
It's already in there, it's part of the fee structure already.
the following discussion.
So that was a second, very good.
Yes, sir.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Ms. Sykes?
I'm going to abstain until there's more discussion.
Mr. Feaser?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Minus one.
Well, that doesn't count. as a vote.
No, it's going to
That's
We
right.
don't count it.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, move on to the next portion, the public hearing on adoption of the 2006 municipal budget. We have resolution 2016-73, resolution authorizing reading of 2016 municipal budget by title only. And then we have resolution 2016-69, adoption of the 2016 municipal budget. Open it up to public for any questions on the budget. Lewis?
This is okay from my Holy Ghost. Only question about the budget is, actually it's two part. One, what's the, you could rephrase me, what's the cost increase for the employees' health insurance? It's like you said, 20,000, right?
What's it cost for each employee, or what was the overall
Total
cost, total
increase.
cost of the insurance increase?
Yeah, what's the overall cost?
You know what your insurance went up by?
Probably about like 5-10%.
Okay, last week you said it's over like 20,000 total, right?
Michael, gonna upload twenty.
And the second was, there was only a small increase from the balance from last year to this year, it's $100,000, right?
Overall budgeted budget?
Yeah. The only difference is around $100,000, different from,
Overall, the zero tax increase budget.
Around 24,000.
For your first question, 24,000.
oh, okay, and there gonna be any budget cuts or service for this year coming up?
We are actually increasing.
Yeah, increasing?
We're hiring two new police officers and one new public works employee.
Part-time and full-time.
Part-time and full-time.
I just this question because I recently went to West Hampton budget meeting. I was trying to get to what's the difference, but they caught one major fire and police. When they say it's $100,000, I say that could use. That's how I'm just concerned about the citizens of the county. I said they could use less than people from West Hampton. I mean, people from West Hampton. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else in the public? Seeing none, we'll move back up. Guess we'll take resolution 2016-73.
I'll motion to approve resolution 2016-73, authorizing the reading of the budget.
First, do we have a second?
A second.
Roll call?
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Ms. Sykes?
Yes.
Mr. Feaser?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
And resolution 2016-69, adoption of the 2016 budget. material increase. We increased 2 police officers, one's in the academy right now, one was a transfer. We went from one part-time public works employee and have him full-time, so now we're up to a staff of 9. All other services we bring away. We use some surplus, but we still have a healthy surplus. We still have the AA negative bond ratings. Overall, I think we're in healthy shape. Along with the body cameras and body cameras, tasers for the police officers. Anything you'd like to add?
No, I just wanted to make sure that people knew the highlights. Basically, zero tax increase, no cut in services. We're actually providing some additional services, like I said, the body cameras for the police officers, the tasers, so, I think it's a pretty good job as a council on the 2016 budget.
The only thing I would add is that on top of that, we are continuing to move forward with all the projects that we've had outlined, including park rehabilitation with Redeemer's money, developed the remediation and rehabilitation that we have, developed street paving rehabilitation, including Marshall every downtown, through grants and other funding sources that we've been able to acquire over the course of the past couple of years. So, in general, I agree with Jules and else up here that I think that as a council, we've been doing a pretty damn good job, and this just shows where we're at with that. It takes time to get back and build back where you were. Now we're there. Good job.
Yeah, I'll just go along with what everybody else said. They covered it.
You guys covered it.
All right, then with that being said, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2016-69, adopting the 2016 municipal budget.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Falco?
Yes.
Ms. Sykes?
Yes.
Mr. Deason?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Have that cream for us while you're there, right?
Okay. We'll move on to matters presented by the public. Members of the public are invited to submit comments from the public comment portion of this meeting. The council pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act will not publicly discuss any personnel matters and will choose not to respond to comments made by members of the public during the portion of this meeting. However, the council will give all comments appropriate consideration and will refer all individual complaints to the township manager or appropriate township representative for resolution. Each citizen will be allotted up to 3 minutes to speak in order to allow everyone the opportunity to express their opinions and concerns. Start on my right. Seeing none, we'll go to the left. Louis, first.
Good evening, Ms. Louis Lopez. Well, first question is, do you have any update status to the vandalism for the RV break-in?
That's a police matter being handled accordingly. There's no news right now.
There's still under investigation.
Okay, just, and, my only, second question is, what's the update status to the walk across the street from Cosmo Restaurant? You know, it will be 80.
Which, there's a Cosmos, the
Yeah, walk across the street, that has been
Washington,
parking lot.
where the fence is,
Yeah.
there's no update right now.
No.
What it is.
And we're curious, well, I'm just curious, I know there's, toxic, drawing underneath that soil. Anything could be built in there?
Anyone that develops something would have to remediate any environmental issues with it.
Huh?
At that time, if they develop, those issues will be fixed.
And two questions. Question on Revolution 2016-78 and 2016-81.
Authorizing refunds of certain monies, all law school BTO.
There was a check that was submitted to the wrong township for the refunding the money.
one?
81 is resolution authorizing the stipend.
You mean save money, right?
Well, we're putting up a resolution to give our interim manager a stipend because he's handling 2 positions right now.
Oh, okay, no.
So,
Okay, thank you.
anyone else?
Hold on.
Ladies first.
Okay, now that the weather's getting nice, been getting out and walking, and a girlfriend of mine came over from another town, and we were walking down, up high, down Grant Street, and then we were gonna go back down to the new development. There's a section of Grant Street that's wooded between the houses and the development that's totally littered. There's abandoned tires,
I actually
boxes,
brought this
trash.
to our township manager, and we started cleaning up, and then we got hit with a snowstorm. The day right before, so they haven't gotten back to it, but it is on our list to make sure that it gets cleaned up, because it does create a flooding issue back there when it rains.
So right on Grant Street with the tires and.
Yep.
So we have a captive workforce here, right here in the county, right? And on Saturdays, they kind of are looking for work to do. Do we have any kind of agreement with the county that maybe they could?
We don't have an agreement, but the chief has reached out to them before, so we will have to reach out to them.
Okay.
Those we use to do some of the events, if you want to help, you know, some of the trash and stuff, yeah.
I think that'd be great. And, I guess the creek, but I guess seems like that. The other thing, just real quick, I noticed some trees are getting taken down in town. And what do you have to do to get a dead tree taken down? It's your tree in my yard.
You have to hire somebody.
No, it's your, it's in, you know, it's
It's a
on
curb
your.
tree. It's a curb
yeah,
tree.
Yeah, it's got one branch left.
If it's dead, report it to the township, we send over to our environmental committee, who has already a tree inventory list of those trees which are dead.
It might be already on the list.
Because I've seen trees that really aren't looking too dead come down, so.
But they've been determined that they're hazardous.
I've got a really, I mean, it's
Yeah,
got
so
some
it
really
may,
good
it may
size.
already
It
be
may
on
be
the
on the
list.
list, depending on the size.
So you have the list?
Yes.
Maybe? Okay, all right.
Depending on the size.
This is Harrison Street's number 5.
Wait, do we have the tree inventory list online? I thought we did, right?
Let's see.
Back again. Jeff Evers, 203 Broad Street. And I'm looking for a councilman to join up to get this property straightened out in Mount Holly. Because for the last 3 years,
You got my vote.
okay, the last 3 years, I'm finding it harder and harder to rent a property in Mount Holly. The base isn't sending anybody to Mount Holly to rent. I've been out there for years. For the last 3 years, it's been very difficult because what they do, I'll get a really good person come in, and they'll drive around the neighborhood, stop down Garden Street, look at some vacant houses, piles of trash, whatever, falling down. Good people don't want to move in the neighborhood. Now, if you get someone from Camden, they'll come up to Mount Holly and say, this is great, man, this is way better than Camden, and they want to move in. I'm finding it more and more difficult the last 3 years, and I've owned properties here for 20 years. I can't even find people, some of these houses I've been empty for 6 months or a year. I can't find somebody that has a job that looks like they even want to take care of the property. But they're always ready to move in, 20 or 30 people. So anyway, back to this code enforcement thing. Jules, you know I've been around forever, you've been fighting it, we've been fighting it. I need somebody on council, and we need to go to the manager or Master D'Angelo, whoever's in charge of this now, because we've had 4 managers and plenty of councilmen, and for some reason, I can pick up my 20 properties right now. They're in such serious violation, and everybody here drives by them every single day, and they see them, they shake their head. They're owned by the county, they're owned by the township, they're owned by individuals, and if they lived out of state, I wouldn't even care, because maybe we can't find them. But we all know that I've had people come to planning board meetings, they don't want this in urban, area of redevelopment because their property's there. Their property's one of the worst eyesores in the world. So we need to get these people and start spending their money. And I'm gonna pick them out. And I don't even pick bad ones. I started 20 years ago. Houses you could walk from the outside in the front, inside the house and not even use the door.
You know, these aren't properties with minor problems. These are major problems. So whoever wants to volunteer, I'd like to get with them once a week, once a month. I'll give you 10 properties or 5 properties, and then we'll go down to the township and we'll get the Right to View Act, or whatever it's called. What's that called? We get the information. The Oprah Act, and I'll see if these properties were ever cited.
I would think that the point that you hear, the fact that there's an expression, at least from me, I'm sure others on this board, there's a general concern on one, how they look, and we understand the CO and the financial piece of it, but there's also an aesthetic issue that you brought up as well with bringing people in here. Going the Oprah route, all that kind of stuff.
I just want to say with it.
If you did it yourself, would make sense. What I'm saying is, keeping up with us, a legitimate concern with how town is looking and feeling, we should be able to work together to get this done.
Let me go to the Robin's Nest restaurant when you had the fireworks downtown, down at the park. And walk from the Robin's Nest down to the park and walk down, what's that, Church Street? And there's 3 or 4 houses that look like they need to be torn down. They're so down, so piles of crap. Well, that's our image. If you bring a good family in here and they walk down the street and they see that, what do they think when they leave? I mean, this is really, it's getting to that point. And I feel that, you know, is it time for me to just sell and move? And let my properties get really bad? Or is it time to do something? And that's what I feel, because if you can't rent them, why own them? And, you know, I've been fighting this for 20 years. And I've had citations for everything under the moon, from dust on my ceiling fans to cobwebs in my windows. Okay? So I've been through it all. And all I hear is, we're going to work on it, we're going to work on it. You know, I took a little bit of a couple houses at a time, Jules worked with me for a while, and we fixed them. All of a sudden I see improvements. And I haven't been down here complaining to anybody. And there have been some improvements. There's some great improvements. People come to town, they drive in, but you should be able to clean 5 or 10 properties on the main arteries of Mount Holly right away, because that's our image. I mean, that's our image. You guys know, right down Garden Street. That's our image. You know? So if we can't get our township manager, our new manager, I guess you're our new manager, right?
No.
Oh, well, interim, whatever. Right? You're in charge, right? And Master D'Angelo, who else is in charge, right? Who's in charge of code enforcement? The police department now?
They oversee these.
Okay. So, because, you know, that was a great move using the police department, because they were finding violations in-house when they get in. But we have to get aggressive, because we're at that point. I mean, I
agree.
And I've been talking to residents, I talk to residents, they used to always come to me and complain about this and that, and I used to go to the township manager, because whatever. So we need to, you know, I guess I've got your phone number still, and I was lax for a year, 2 years, I don't know how long it's been, but I've been busy. But we need to do something immediately. We need to see instant 5 houses. I mean, it's nice by the RV high school that somebody finally bought the house. You know, I mean, how long was that bad? And everybody came to RV for graduation every year, and they looked at the grass 8 feet tall and the tires and the trash. That's our image in Mount Holly. When they go home. So do you want to be a Camden, or do you want to be Haddonfield? That's where we're standing right now, in my opinion, with Mount Holly. Do we want to be Camden, or do we want to be Haddonfield? Because people aren't going to move here. The schools are problems, you know, because I guess their grade isn't too good at the schools right now. But it's also the view of the town. So I'll give you a call next week.
Please.
I'll give you 5 properties, and these aren't going to be like little paint peeler or something. These are things we need to address, and one's owned by the county. And I know the county's got money. They just gave away $5 million. Didn't they give $5 million to the townships? Fix up parks and everything, spray parks. So they got some money somewhere to give away.
We didn't get it.
we got 50. We got a spray park or something. We got 50,000 or whatever it was. But you know, they could fix up their house. The thing's collapsing. It's right on High Street. You know which one I'm talking about?
They want on Union.
Yep, Union and High.
It's already being discussed.
We called the guy. He acts like he doesn't know anything. Oh, we're going to give it to the veterans. The guy didn't even know what he was talking about. He'll get back to me. He hasn't called back. It's been 3 weeks now. 3 weeks. Oh, I know. Oh, you know, we're going to give it. Are they going to build on it? You know, they were going to get the vets to fix up. Well, how about they have to fix it up? And then give it to the vets. Spend their money. But, huh? We'll fix it up then. We have violated. We have code. And then you're not going to be friends with the county anymore, right?
There is active discussions, yeah, on that house.
Yeah.
On that building.
There are current discussions happening.
Okay.
Yeah, on that one.
So, you know, but that's one of the ones. You know, and people do, they walk, that's